Hi there, 𝗏𝗏𝗡 here, exposing more information about Medicare that probably you've not seen elsewhere. My goal is to expose the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we help with all of it, trying to get the best fit for our clients, people who come to us for guidance and help on what should they do for their Medicare plans. Well, in full transparency, I want you to know what our industry is doing. There are a lot of bad people in our industry, and I think it's important that more people shine a light on it rather than try to hide it. And currently, there's something going on in the U.S. Senate. Forgot to turn the light on. That might help. That you probably should know about. And a lot of you are going to tell me that you don't like the senators involved in this. Totally understand that. Not getting into politics, that would get somebody in trouble. But I want you to hear what the message is. Hear who the nominee is and who put him up to it. So again, if you're not familiar with my organization, I run the Senior Savings Network. We're a insurance agency that helps people with Medicare insurance across the country. And there's news today. Maybe you heard about this. The folks that answer the phone over at Medicare, Medicare.gov at 800-633-4227, a number that's been impressed in this brain for more than a decade. They decided that they wanted to walk off because it's too stressful for what they make to work for Medicare right now. So in 6 different states, they've walked off the job. And where does that leave you? Well, a suggestion would be that you need to use some of the automated tools that are out there. We have an automated tool. If you want to look for a Medicare Advantage plan, you can go to MedicareAdvantageNearMe.com. If you want to find out about Medicare supplement plans, you can go to our website, SeniorSavingsNetwork.org. Look in the description. You can find out how to contact us. But it's more important now than ever before that seniors rely on the tools that are available, and they're getting easier. They're getting better. I want to read this part to you. It said, first of all, citing President Joe Biden's support for the UAW strike, the CWA, that's the Communication Workers of America, said that the president must do the right thing and stand up for the workforce his own administration employs through a multi-billion-dollar contract with Maximus. Workers at call centers in Arizona, Florida, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, New York, and Virginia are all on strike, the CWA said. Now, the CWA doesn't represent them yet. They want to. They want them to unionize, adding that the Mississippi and Louisiana call centers are largely shut down, but the rest of them, they're not doing very well right now. And this is what they're citing. They're citing when the president goes and sits with the people that are on the picket line, and the people in the automaker industry are going to raise their prices to accommodate what they've done with the wages. So I don't care what side of the fence you're on, just letting you know that people that work at Medicare are not going to be answering the phone like they were before. And we used to always encourage our people, if you have to call Medicare, call them late at night, because they have a lot of these call centers. They're staffed all night long, and they can help you with your questions on your Part D drug plan and your Medicare Advantage. They don't know anything about Medicare supplement. So don't call them asking about Medigap or which one is better. You need to rely on an independent broker that doesn't cost you anything to help you with those kind of a thing. There's a deal being done that you may not have heard of. It's going on very quietly. They actually asked in the Senate that it not be broadcast, and so it was not. Their final vote on this in the committee. But this person wants to become one of the Medicare trustees. You see, the Democrats and the Republicans both have a public at-large seat on this board of Medicare trustees. They decide how much to raise Part B and why, how much the Part D will be, and how much the incentives are, and all that kind of stuff, and how to deal with the Medicare Advantage companies. And then the regulators implement what they've come up with. But they're supposed to look out for the longevity of the Medicare system and make sure that it's viable long into the future. Well, there's someone that was nominated by the current administration that may have some conflict of interest. You be the judge. Last week, I covered how the Medicare Advantage companies have been shoveling money into the hands of the insurance agent over and above the cap that has been set by the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. They set the cap on how much we, the agents, can make. But it was not revealed until recently that that's been blown out of the water. We could make as much as $3,000 per application with the marketing money, the advertising help, the support for our overhead and our printer and our paper. We've never taken a dime of that. And I just don't agree with the agents that do. but see that video about the agent compensation and the proposed rule and how you can have an impact on that. I'll link that video below and up here in the card when the live stream is over with. But these Senate hearings are fascinating. You're probably not going to like the senator involved because half of America does and half of America does not. That's okay. Please listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth, not my mouth, her mouth, but listen to the words of this. It will shock you if you can see beyond the pomp and circumstance and just listen to the conflict of interest that resides here. And I'll be back on the other side to put it in context and tell you where we are on this right now.
Of the Medicare and Social Security trust funds. I have concerns about your conflicts of interest. Now, this shouldn't be a surprise. I sent you a letter outlining those concerns. And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make that letter part of the hearing record. So ordered. The position of public trustee was created in the 1980s to give the public a voice in the Board of Trustees' solvency projections for Medicare and Social Security. And a big factor influencing Medicare solvency today is the growth of Medicare Advantage, a program that allows for profit insurance companies to sell Medicare coverage that experts say is on target this year to overcharge the government by $75 billion. In other words, Medicare Advantage has a lot to do with threatening the solvency of Medicare. Mr. Kazookas, you sit on the board of Clover Health, a for-profit insurance company that, according to its most recent SEC filing, receives a, quote, substantial portion, close quote, of its total revenue from Medicare Advantage premiums. How much are you paid for your work at Clover?
Senator, I'm paid in accordance with the company's process for executive.
Okay, and what's the dollar amount? That's what I'm asking.
Well, there's a portion of the compensation that relates in equity and a portion that relates to particular roles on the board.
So you don't know the amount that you're getting paid from Clover?
I do, Senator.
Then how about you tell me?
Well, there's a portion that relates to the.
Could I have a dollar amount, please?
Well, it also depends on the year and the time.
Okay, you did a financial disclosure last year. Would you like to tell me what you said on your financial disclosure, which you signed under oath?
I believe, Senator, as laid out in your letter, you pointed out to the payment that was from Clover with regards to 2022 and the compensation therein being in the category of $100,000.
Okay, so you received $100,000 from Clover for your service. And if confirmed as a public trustee, do you plan to quit the Clover board?
Senator, I appreciate the opportunity to address your question.
It's really easy. You can say yes or you can say no.
Senator, the role of the trustees of the Social Security.
Is that a yes or a no? Do you plan to quit the job for which you were paid $100,000 a year?
Senator, I'm grateful to the President and his team for the review of my credentials and qualifications.
I mean, really?
As well.
You know you're going to have to answer this question. Is it yes or no? Are you planning to resign the job that pays you $100,000 a year while you are a trustee for Medicare?
Senator, the review of my current activities and my credentials and qualifications is one that all nominees undergo, and that's one that led to the President putting my nomination before this body. I'm grateful for that. And if given
Look, I'm not going to get into why the President nominated you. What I want to know is, are you going to keep a job where you get paid by a for-profit outfit somewhere in the neighborhood of $100,000 a year while you keep your government trustee job? Can you answer that question?
Senator, the role of the trustees actually.
Okay, I'm going to take that as a yes, because I'm going to assume that if you were going to quit that job, you would be really happy to tell me that right now before we go into the question of what it means for you to keep this job. Mr. Kazookas, as we both know, as a member of the board, corporate law requires you to help Clover maximize its profits. So, for example, if you highlighted the amount of fraud that Medicare Advantage undergoes every year and how that fraud is undermining the solvency of Medicare, that could lead to policies that might limit the Medicare Advantage program. And if that happened, Mr. Kozoukas, would limiting the Medicare Advantage program undercut the profitability of Clover, the company that by law you are supposed to be watching out for? That was a question.
I'm not sure I understood the question or got
So,
the
all right.
question.
So my question is, you are, if you are on the board of Clover, you are legally obligated to try to help Clover to improve its profitability over time, or at least sustain its profits. That's corporate law 101, right? So if you are also serving as a Medicare trustee, I just want to be clear here. If the focus in the Medicare program is on the amount of fraud that is currently in the Medicare Advantage program, I think it's reasonable to assume that could lead to reducing the amount of money that we put into Medicare Advantage, to putting more restrictions on Medicare Advantage, to saying we've got to put a cop on the beat, maybe cut it out altogether. What I'm asking you is, would that injure Clover? That is, would it reduce Clover's profitability?
Senator, I think all Americans, and I especially, would share your attentiveness to the questions of fraud.
I appreciate that, but I asked you a pretty straightforward question. That if you're actually going to be a trustee on behalf of the American people and people who care about the solvency of Medicare, that I think you ought to be able to answer it. If Medicare currently, as it stands, put more restrictions on Medicare Advantage, would that likely cut into the profitability of Clover, the company from which you receive more than $100,000 in compensation annually?
Senator, I think that the question you're asking...
I know the question I'm asking. Could you answer my question, please?
Yes.
You want to be a trustee for the American people. You ought to be able to answer that question.
The question you're asking is one that deserves a greater context about the role of the trustee.
No, it deserves an answer from you. You want to be the trustee, then answer the question. If Medicare cut what goes into Medicare Advantage, would that hurt Clover's profitability? That's not a hard question. And in fact, Clover has already pretty much answered that in its public documents. So could you give an answer to that, please?
I think, Senator, that what's important to focus on here...
I know what's important to focus on here. That's why I'm here, is to ask the questions that are important to focus on. Could you answer my question, please?
Yes, Senator. I think that if confirmed, Dr. Newman and I would be an outside set of eyes and ears.
That is not my question. Can you answer my question, or are you just flatly refusing?
Senator, I'd be delighted to discuss.
Then answer my question.
And I think that the question is one that is in the context of a hearing.
No, it's a question that's a straight financial question. You know, Mr. Kozoukas, I think you think you're going to get away with this by just not answering the question and not having any clip that admits how much money you're taking from a private insurance company that makes its money through Medicare Advantage at the same moment that you're trying to take a public role that will influence whether we focus on the fraud in Medicare Advantage or whether we turn a blind eye to it. Let's be clear, if Mr. Kozoukas ignores the fraud, then he helps Clover. If he focuses on the fraud, he hurts Clover. The conflict of interest here is so big and so pervasive that there is no action that Mr. Kozoukas can take that doesn't either help or hurt Clover, the company that pays him $100,000 a year to sit on its board and watch out for the company. And there is no waiver that can change that fact. This kind of conflict is shocking, and it is deeply unethical. Not a single other trustee has ever received compensation from an insurance company while acting as a Medicare trustee. And if you won't step down from the Clover board, then you should withdraw your nomination. And if you do not withdraw, given the clear conflicts posed by your board service, I will strongly oppose your nomination, and I will encourage every other senator in this body to do so as well.
Wow. So what happened? That was the Senate Finance Committee. What did they end up deciding? Well, this was a nomination from President Biden, right? And opposed by some of the Democrats, right? Well, she condemned him, but the rest of the Democrats were joined by Republicans and pushed the nomination right onto the Senate floor, coming up for a vote soon. She said, let's be clear, Mr. Kozoukas. If Mr. Kozoukas ignores the fraud, he helps Clover. If he focuses on the fraud, he hurts Clover. The conflict of interest here is so big and so pervasive that there is no action that he could take that either doesn't help or hurt Clover, the company that pays him $100,000 a year to sit on his board and watch out for the company. And there is no waiver that can change that fact. This kind of conflict is shocking, and it is deeply unethical. Not a single other trustee has ever received compensation from an insurance company while acting as a Medicare trustee, and that is a fact. This is an article about what happened here. The Massachusetts Democrats shared a new letter. This is after what you just saw. A new letter with the committee that she sent to Kozoukas on Wednesday, highlighting another disturbing revelation about his conflict of interest. She said she discovered that he received $200,000 in stock this year from Clover Health, which is nearly 10 times as much stock as he got in 2021 or in 2022. This stock will be vested in 2024 when Kozoukas, if confirmed, will be a sitting public Medicare board trustee. Quote, I'm deeply concerned that Clover Health appears to have offered Mr. Kozoukas this massive increase in compensation after he and other company officials became aware that Mr. Kozoukas would be in the public trustee position. What a coincidence. The rub with Mr. Kozoukas is that while he's officially a Biden nominee, watch this, those that are cheering for one party or another, while he was the Biden nominee, he was recommended to the White House by Senator Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. The Board of Trustees of the Social Security and Medicare Trust Fund has 2 slots for public trustees, one filled by Democrats and one by Republicans. Then why is Mitch nominating this joker? Kozoukas puts Biden in the uncomfortable position of trying to defend a nominee he may not like, but is trying to slip through. It also means that Republicans will almost certainly line up in support of him, which they did so far in the committee, considering he was put forward by their party leader. A White House spokesperson did not respond to requests. Can you get involved in this? You betcha. You sure can. Let me show you how. This is an organization that's, look, it's not much. I mean, you can call your senator if you want to when it comes on the floor of the whole Senate body, which is great. But I would encourage you to get involved in this to this extent. You can scan this with your phone or go to the address. Address will be in the description of the video as well. And this is an organization, Medicare, not MediCorp. It's just trying to keep Medicare nonprofit. Can we just keep Medicare nonprofit? That would be a good start to reducing fraud. So if you miss this, if you can't scan it with your phone by holding up your phone to it, bringing up the photograph thing, like it's going to take a photo, but don't actually take a photo. And then it'll show you where you can go, not my website, directly to the petition. Very simple to do, even on a cell phone. Put your name and address there. Put your name behind. We want the Senate to let this person go back to Clover and work for them. If there's anything that you've gotten of value from my channel ever, please do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. It would really help us out a lot. We've been growing a lot, and we've been having this shared. You know, somebody shared something in the other day that they took one of our videos about what's going on with Medicare, and they shared it on their LinkedIn page. And then somebody else said, well, I shared it on my Facebook page. Could you please do that? Grab the address of the video that's above your browser right now and just paste it into your Facebook or onto your LinkedIn and say, hey, there's the guy talking about the truth on Medicare that nobody else is saying, because that's true. And it would be really helpful if you could just share this message or any of the other things that we're bringing to you, because you can hear it's crickets out there. Other people just want to sell the plans. They don't want to tell you what's going on with the plans. And for those not familiar, because we get asked this question every time we go live, what do you mean there's another way to go to Medicare? My agent only told me about Medicare Advantage. No, there are two ways. One, you can stay on original Medicare. That's what you've paid into your whole life, and that's what you deserve, is original Medicare. And if you go on original Medicare, you can have a Part D drug plan that's specifically tailored toward you and your drugs. You can find out about those at our website called startpartd.com. startpartd.com, and you can see a drug plan just tailored for you. Now, if you already have a Medicare Advantage plan, don't go do that, because by signing up for a Part D drug plan, you will replace your Medicare Advantage with a Part D plan, but you need a supplement really to go with that. And supplements, if you're not brand new to Medicare, require underwriting, and we can help you through that process. Or instead of original Medicare, you could do Medicare Advantage, a complete replacement for Medicare's privatization of Medicare, where the incentive is the doctors get paid, the plan gets paid. One fee every month for you, whether they see you a lot or they see you a little, whether they approve a lot or they approve a little. So they have things called prior authorization, where the health plan and the doctors have to fight with each other most often, because the doctors want you to be taken care of, but they're overruled by the health plan. Prior authorization is only a scheme found in Medicare Advantage. It's not in original Medicare. And they have an all-in-one plan, and they'll let you go to the YMCA, most of the plans. Busiest time of the year. As of today, there are 870 people on our list to call back, and we are doing our level best. But when people call us and they don't say why they're calling, what their situation is, what they're interested in, then we don't know how to triage that. We're trying to help as many people before December 7th that have a December 7th deadline. Those are the people who are on a Medicare Advantage plan and they need to get a different one, or they want to get on Medicare Advantage for the first time because they can no longer afford a Medicare supplement plan due to whatever got there by the wrong agent, or they got stuck on a plan due to health. They just can't take it anymore. They need to look at the world of Medicare Advantage. So those are the people we're trying to help. If you go to our website, you can see a thing called Medicare Help. If you click on that, it will guide you to get you the answers that you need and how we can help you. We can't help everybody, but we are trying our level best. And just so you know, if you're on a Medicare supplement and you want to change it, or you want to get one, this is not the period for you. Please, it's not. I've talked to a lot of my agent friends super early this morning in a conference call. All of us are completely overwhelmed with people that want to review every type of plan that they have, because Medicare is sending out the emails, because it's all over the television. This is the time to do your Medicare plan. It's not the time for Medicare supplement. We can do Medicare supplement shopping and changing and starting and stopping all year long. That's the cool thing about Medicare supplement. Medicare Advantage, they give you 54 days that you have to do everything for Medicare Advantage. That's why we're trying to prioritize those who need a plan for the first time for December 1st, need a plan for the first time for January 1st. We've got to get them in the system, or those people who need to start, change, or drop a Medicare Advantage plan. Remember, there's another time period where you can do those last two things. That starts again January 1st. So don't give up on us if you've not heard back yet. January 1st to March 31st, you can change your Medicare Advantage plan to a different company. You could also qualify for a Medicare supplement. Depending on your health, you could qualify for one, and we can help you through that process. But if you do qualify for a Medicare supplement, we'll walk through the process of how to then cancel your Medicare Advantage plan and pick up a specific to you Part D drug plan. So you don't have to do really any of this stuff before December 7th, unless you're that person who wants to get on a Medicare Advantage plan for the first time. That you can't do in the first quarter. If you already have one in the first quarter, you can change it, you can drop it. But if you want a Medicare Advantage plan for the first time, you have a deadline of December 7th, and you can do it yourself. Like I mentioned, let me show you some of these things that we've got. If you want to know what's involved in underwriting for a Medicare supplement plan, go to this website, seniorsavingsnetwork.org/underwritten. And what's the one if you wanted to look at the Medicare Advantage things? There you go. MedicareAdvantageNearMe.com. You can go there and you can either do it yourself, or you can get our help to do it if there are calendar spots available between now and December 7th. You can see, and you can do that yourself at MedicareAdvantageNearMe.com. And if you're on original Medicare with a Medicare supplement, you don't know what to do about your drug plan, yes, you should review it. Yes, you should affirmatively change it if there's a benefit for you. And how do you find that out? The details are at startpartd.com, where you can do it. It's CMS Medicare approved, direct to consumer. So all the information, like we can see, you can see. And you pick the best plan based on which one comes up number one, based on all the factors, your lowest total out of pocket, given your drugs, your pharmacy, and all the rest. Were you excited about today's video presentation with what's going on in the Senate, with who's being nominated by whom, actually behind the scenes? It's pretty crazy, isn't it? Seems like they're all working together in cahoots, doesn't it? Somebody's got to be looking out for you. So I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. 75% of the people that watch these videos never subscribe. Over 9.4 million views now. Appreciate that. But if you subscribe and you share it with somebody else who's in the Medicare journey with you, we can help more people. So please subscribe so you're getting those notifications. And here, once again, our contact information. I'm Christopher Westphal. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see you next time. Talk to you soon.